We are live. Welcome in, everyone. What's going on? Look at this, you guys. Look at this. Look at this. Would you just look at it? We are affiliate. No. The thing that says... Mike, are you watching the stream? There's a goal here. We have a funding goal for the Sophie Lancaster Foundation. As previously stated. Nick has an announcer echo. Oh shit, I know why. I know why. I didn't change my audio. 1 second. There we go. Is that better? Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Hello. Hello there.
Hello there, Brian.
Are we good? I think we're good. Still echo. Still echo? What? Ow. Check the settings over here. Monitor and output. Yeti. Monitor off. No sound alerts. What?
No.
Okay. Sound alerts is here.
Not even playing on stream.
That one played. Wait, I heard that.
Nick's been playing during the week.
Literally this morning. After staying up all night drinking.
Apparently G has an echo as well.
Ah, that worked. I don't know why you'd have an echo.
No. Nothing on mine's has changed, so it's not on my end.
No, G doesn't have an echo. Say something?
Something.
Something.
Okay. That's a separate audio source. I have no idea.
Anyway, while Nick's trying to sort that out, how is everyone in chat anyway?
Good. Good.
Okay, it doesn't
Good to hear, Larky.
sound bad for me.
I think Dieting must have 2 tabs open and he's hearing it from 2 tabs.
I don't know. Does anyone else have an echo? I don't hear the echo. Oh, he must have 2 tabs because we were working on something to get the donation goal working properly.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Glenn says
See,
no,
dire
Jane
thing,
says
damn
no.
it. Ah. Killing me. Jesus, you're making me like worry about shit. I didn't change the audio source at the start though. Yeah, close all your tabs and reopen. Unless you have the that like CSS or whatever code that you had running and it's running the audio through it.
That was a load of gobbledygook to me.
Yeah, well, a lot of what Dire Thing says is gobbledygook to me, so it's fair enough. But yeah, hey guys, we're officially an affiliate channel now. We can obtain subscribers. We have bits. We have channel points, like actually officially channel points, which you can redeem farts. Ooh, I can redeem my farts now. Yay!
I don't need to redeem my thoughts.
Yeah, no, yours are audible.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can. Oh, I gotta set up fucking ad settings. I need to know after the show. We'll talk. How to do just the. Ooh, that was a little one. I love the names I put down for them. So I need to know how to do just the sidebar ads instead of the full screen like whole thing ads. You did it, I thought, on your channel.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one. We got to figure that one out.
Oh, dizzies.
Whoa. Whoa.
Breathe out.
So yeah, how was everyone's week? How we doing today? How's everyone? Welcome back to the show. I didn't even change the title or anything. This is a mess.
Last week for me was very testing.
Oh,
Yeah.
go on, Mike.
No, I'm not talking about it on here.
Okay. Moving on. I had a busy week, man. I've been working on getting a new overlay done for my games night, which is successful. It works as intended. Do need to fix up a few things here and there. But otherwise, it works very nice. Damn dev tools. Oh. That was a risky one. Love that one. So basically, the way it's going to work for farts and stuff is all the little short 1-second clips are going to be used for channel points, and the really good juicy ones are going to be for bits. So get your bits out. And that being said, all bits, donations, all subscriptions, all everything, every payout that goes into this channel gets donated. So this channel is strictly for charity, not for profit whatsoever. That was my intention in the first place, is like make it so that we don't make any money off of this. Yeah. So that's what we're doing, and I'm pretty stoked about it, if I'm being honest. I mean, we've already raised £15 for that. Thank you, Lynn and Puddle. You guys are amazing. We got a £300 goal. It's going to be ongoing, so until it gets funded, we're just going to leave it here, and, as time goes on, hopefully people throw a couple of quid in there. And,
Look at you coming out with English expressions.
I can speak English. Sort of. Most of the time, sometimes. Anyways. We'll chuck a couple of quid in it. Oh, man. But, yeah. Everything goes to charity. Ooh. So, yeah, we're helping. We're doing something. We're being charitable, you guys. A show about nothing and farts and banter is being charitable. Who would have thunk? It's wild. Absolutely wild to me. Hopefully, it catches on. I would like this to be a show that is big again. We used to get a lot of people watching us. And I think we can get back to that point, but we just gotta, we'll take our time with it and just carry on. But I think as long as everything is, at the very least better than it was, previously, then we're good.
Yep.
Like not having. Go on.
Double Jumper's just about got it right there. It's because we do give a shit.
We do give a shit. And we want to prove that we give a shit, and we're not horrible human beings, even though we might be undesirable. Guess what, bitches? We're giving money to charity.
And it's a bloody good one for the first one.
Yeah, I think we picked a really good one for the first one.
Yeah.
I think once we reach the halfway point of this one, we might have to start thinking about the next one. But, we'll see. We'll see how this goes,
Yep.
I think, like when every show we do, we raid out to someone and we explain what we're about. Hopefully people will pop in and just drop a couple pennies in the bucket, I don't want to harp on about it though, it's just going to be there, omnipresent, it's just going to be there. If you feel like throwing in what you want, then do it. If not, no, not a big deal. And, we're just going to carry on as usual and just do our thing and talk about farts and nothing.
Speaking of farts.
Oh, don't make me tell this story again.
You were the one that said you were gonna.
Oh. I had a risky one. Speaking of a risky one,
Yep.
I had a near oopsie the other night where I had a bunch of cheese. It relates to farts and cheese.
Yep.
So I
And
had a
lactose
bunch of
intolerance.
cheese. And I'm lactose intolerant, so it doesn't agree with me. But I eat it anyways, you know? And I don't take the lactate pills. So I had a cheese.
They call the pills lactate.
Lactade. Like
Oh, lactate. Right, okay.
lactade. Why? What are your pills called for lactose intolerance?
We don't have any, I don't think.
What?
I'm sure we do, but I don't know what they are.
Well,
I've got pills for
maybe we
anything
do.
these days.
That's true. Just don't mistake those ones for the boner pills.
Yeah.
So I don't take that shit. So I was laying in bed getting ready to fall asleep, and I felt the fart. I'm like, it's probably fine. It's rule number 1 with farts is don't trust a fart, right? Well, I made that mistake. And I gave it a little push, and it was a little squeaker, but right towards the end, he had to clench. I'm like, huh! And I was laying on my side, so I had to like clench, flip over, and like go to the bathroom and check myself before I wrecked myself. We were good. There was no Hershey squirt. There was no little surprise.
Rosebuds.
No rosebuds in there. But let me tell you, there's nothing scarier than trusting an untrustable fart.
Yep. Welcome to middle age.
But I've always said, you get one per year. You get one pants shitting. If any more than that, you are unhealthy.
For
Yeah.
me, if it's one, you're unhealthy.
So my buddy Sam has a friend that shits his pants like once a month.
What? Motherfucker should wear nappies.
Yeah.
Incontinent pants for adults.
I mean, I forget, he's got like Crohn's and that kind of thing. Like he's
right,
like
fair enough.
diagnosed with intestinal bowel problems. So like
Well,
it's
I'm
not
being
like,
funny, but in that instance, he definitely should be wearing fucking nappies.
man, that's embarrassing. Do you want to wear nappies, Mike?
No, but if the needs must, then needs must.
Well, they make Depends now, which are, discreet.
Oh god. Shartbot. Please no Shartbot. Yeah.
Back in a sec.
Oh, the other thing I was thinking of is doing a bio break thing about the halfway point, because we've been doing 2-hour streams. I feel like after an hour we should probably take a quick bio break for everyone, just in case, because I do tend to go through almost this whole thing of water on the stream. Talking a lot takes its toll on your voice.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're going to probably do a halfway point bio break. So, yeah, I'm going to try to keep... I have to adjust the ad settings and stuff like that. There's still some work to do.
Yellow break.
Yellow break, God. Might have to call it that.
Or the golden break. Golden
Yeah.
time.
So I'm going to adjust the ad settings so that you don't get pre-rolls and you just get the ones that aren't very intrusive, so you don't miss the show.
Mhm.
I've also added a redeem for 5,000 channel points for us to just switch the topic immediately. Whatever we're talking about, we just switch the topic. But it can only be redeemed twice during the show, and it's got a half-hour cooldown, so it's not going to be abused like Chug was when I didn't put restrictions on it. Jesus.
Yeah, Nick finally got his revenge last night.
Yeah.
He got to redeem a chug on Lee's
Yep.
birthday stream.
Right.
Chug
Got
redeemed.
me-
Click.
He got me to chug the rest of his 10% porter.
Oh, come on. He loved it.
He loved it, but he was straight to bed as soon as that show was finished.
I don't blame him. He was up until almost 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning ish.
I wonder if they made it to the guitar show,
Oh,
because the two of them have never had a hangover. But I mean, they were drinking quite a bit last night.
that was a good little show, though.
Lisa had 2/3 of a bottle of Kraken to herself.
Oh,
Yeah.
and she's small. Like, I believe she could drink a lot because she's northern, but
Yeah. Yeah, none of them have had a hangover before, but I mean, yeah.
no offense,
That was
Mike. I'm sure
quite a
you can
drink.
drink a lot too.
Not nowadays.
Not anymore.
No.
You used to be able to.
Yep. Yep, gone are them days. Now I've just got to smell alcohol and I feel drunk.
Yeah, alcohol. I mean, I drank 10 cans of 4% last night and I feel fine. So does that equal like 1 can of 40%? Does that math work?
I don't think so.
Probably not. I don't know, but Sam told me how much he drank last night, and wow, the fact that he's awake right now is a miracle. I would have been slept until like the sun went down. Just,
I mean, the last time I actually had any alcohol was when I was on a Zoom call with Mo and M. And that was the night I drank a litre of whiskey.
Oh God, I've done that before.
I mean, if you're gonna go out, do it big, right?
Yeah, well, I ended up losing 3 days.
Same.
Holy shit!
Same here.
What
That's exactly
was
what
it? A
happened to
show
me
or
when I
just
done
a
it.
hangout?
It was just a hangout.
Oh man,
Yep.
that's extreme.
And I've not actually had any alcohol since that night.
Ah.
Jane says, rather have a cuppa.
Yeah, I'm the same.
We were discussing the whole kettle situation last night again.
Yeah.
The fact it's funny to me that like you guys are so mind boggled that we just don't have kettles in the house. Like, so some people have like the old school like tea kettle with the whistle thing and all that. Not many people have electric kettles. We're too busy having like
espresso and shit like that.
Yeah, like every other machine known to man. Like the Instapot and all that stuff where it's like,
I'm surprised over in America you haven't got like the cooker taps.
Yeah, wait. We were also talking about that last night where you have the hot boiling water on tap. That to me is crazy. I'm like, what?
It costs to get it installed, but I mean, yeah, that's a thing.
I mean, that would be fucking amazing. Well, here's the thing, though.
Water.
Here's the thing. Not many people drink the tap water. Right?
Well, I mean, this is filtered. It's on a filtered system.
Even still,
dedicated,
dude. People are
boiler.
People are drinking the like bottled electrolyte negative ion water and shit nowadays.
I mean, depends where you are. I mean, I know in like this like England, their water, like your water's like got lime, you know, so it's subject to a lot of lime scale and kettles and whatnot.
Yeah.
But the further north you go, and even over here in Ireland, it's not really an issue. You know, so the water's good to drink. You know, but I mean, I know in a lot of other countries, especially in Europe, don't drink the tap water.
Electric kettles are a terrible idea when most of your groundwater filters through limestone. I mean, I guess that's fair. I don't know much about water and what goes into the whole process. Or when you have it, water is super clean through the limestone.
Yeah,
but it destroys appliances. Yeah, because we have hard water. I know that.
Yeah.
But the other thing is like with certain areas, certain water supplies, they'll add like chlorine and fluoride and
Fluoride.
bleh, all that stuff in your water.
Yep.
Which now they're relating to having like mental like issues, like people developing like not mental issues, but you know what I'm saying, like
Health issues.
health
I'm not
issues.
sure, I don't know, because I mean, we've been drinking tap water in like Scotland like forever. You know, since it was a thing, and you know, we're normal-ish.
But do you have fluoride in your water?
Mhm. Yeah.
Well,
I still put the same stuff through it. I mean, you can kind of, unless you run the tap for a few seconds, you can taste the chlorine.
Jane says corporation
Not like-
pop. Dyer
Unless you run the
says,
tap for a few seconds, you can taste a bit of the chlorine.
ugh. We've sometimes like water can have like a almost a methane smell to it too, which is gross. Love that.
Never had that.
Yeah, it's,
No, I've never read that.
that's gross.
Yeah.
Dyer thing said you have baby hard water in the Midwest. You will find it. Fill an entire water heater with lime in 8 years. Damn. What about like having the tankless water heaters over there? I bet that would probably be a good idea because then it doesn't build up.
We have got tankless water things over here.
Well, no, I'm saying in the Midwest. Over here, we like typically you go down in the basement, if you have a basement, that is, and you have like this giant like 75 to 150-ish gallon water tank, you know, like water heater,
Right, okay.
and it literally like constantly keeps that much water hot. So that's why you could take a hour-long shower if you wanted to. But over there,
over here, we get hot water on the mains.
you have the boiler though.
Yeah.
Wait, wow. Well, yeah, because like the boiler, it comes through and it just spits out the hot water. And because like when I was at Jenny's, anytime you like run the tap, I hear the boiler kick on.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand that. That's why I like having a basement, to be honest with you. All that stuff is downstairs. You can't ever really hear it.
So basements aren't a thing over here either.
Nah.
They're
guys-
very rare.
It's
Yeah,
only
yeah.
very old properties in England that have basements, or as we call them, cellars.
Cellars, yeah. We used to call it cellar. Well, as a kid, I called it down cellar.
It's mainly shops and pubs in this country that have them.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jenny's old shop had a basement. That's where they broke into.
Yeah, my dad's shop had a basement.
Basements are good. We like basements. Basements are a good place to store all your crap.
Not when you're scared of spiders and the basement is absolutely full of spiders because it's full of wooden furniture.
Well, that's why you carry a lighter
Yeah, fuck that.
and a can of hairspray. Lynn says, or bodies. Dungeons are better. Oh, we need to do a fundraiser for Jane to get a proper dungeon. Furnish the dungeon. Wait, this is assuming that she doesn't already have one.
Yeah, I'm not being funny. The amount of times I turned into Bruce Lee going down into my dad's basement.
Fire kills all, you know, cleansing fire.
Yeah. It helps if the lights actually work down there as well, though, so you can see the buggers.
See, you have a predicament, Mike, because you love like all the haunted stuff and the like scary, spooky places, but typically that's associated with spiders.
I know. It's not the ghosts and that scare me. It's the spiders and the webs.
Dyer said Jane probably needs to be restricted from dungeons. She said spoil sport. That's great. One thing I didn't do is hit the record button. Fuck! It's okay, I'll download the stream after. Just takes forever. I'm so thrown off my game by everything that happened between yesterday and today, essentially. Because me and G just played a game to get the days of the week added up, and
Right.
then the email doesn't come through until like 24 hours later. So I waited and waited, and I checked the thing when I got home last night, and I was basically setting it up on Lee's stream. I'm like, get all the information in and do that, and then boom, affiliate. Let's go.
Nice.
Yeah. So, but that threw me off everything else, because up until this point, it was just business as usual. Click the button, do the thing. Now I have to like be concerned about ads and channel points, and just adds a whole other layer of complication to things.
Yep.
But you know. Oh, Jane. We're gonna add some BTTV and Franker Faces emotes into the chat as well. So if you guys don't have the browser extension for that, make sure you go get that BTTV emotes.
What the fuck is that?
Just don't
You
worry
just
about it, Mike.
just Google it and then go to
the link,
the site and download the extension and then enable it. It'll ask you when you
I'll
click
put
it to enable it.
I'll put links to those in the Undesirables Discord as well. Don't worry about it.
Yep.
It'll be good and it'll be funny. So like, I don't know if people that don't have the extension can even see like the BTTV stuff, but like I just put one in chat. Some people see words, but when you look at the actual stream, it shows the emote in the chat box there. But if you see a word, you don't have it installed. Basically. Yeah, Dire Thing said words. So, make sure you well, I don't know about, well, if Dire Thing is using his normal computer, then he might not be able to download it because he has like restrictions on it, but I don't know. Oh. Yeah, no. Words. Rip. But you can see what it looks like in the chat window if you have it installed. So you get cool emotes, man. You can get like the little Shiba Inu dog. And if you see the words, it just says concern Doge. Anyways, there's so much stuff I have to do now. That's like opens up a whole can of worms with that, because now I have to worry about subscriber badges and all that stuff. Like, man, royal pain. But it's all good. It's for the greater good, you know? It's for charity. Everything we do now, everything we talk about is for charity. Game night. Imagine a freaking crazy Jackbox game night for charity. Talking about anal fissures.
Oh.
That's still one of my favorite answers. Water. In the past 100 years, we ruined water. So, if you think about it, right? When you were a kid, you could go outside, and 9 times out of 10, you'd have like a spigot, a tap outside that you'd have like a hose attached to or whatever. And if you were thirsty, you'd just turn it on and drink from it.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, kids get caught doing that, parents would have a heart attack. They're like, oh, what are you doing? You can't drink that water. It's dirty. It's gross. It's like you didn't think about the fact that there could be a bug or something living up there in the hose. Nowadays, when you think about it, though, it's kind of messed up. You're like, oh, gross. I probably drank a bug at some point. But, you know, yeah.
It's just protein.
Protein. So, these days you padlock the tap. Wow, that's intense. Jane says builds immune systems. I know. We need the germs. We've ruined everything. We've ruined like our bodies.
They took away our germs.
They took away our germs.
When you think about it, water that comes out, How many times has that water already gone through a person?
Oh, I don't want to think about that. It's dinosaur piss. Oh, God, Mike. Why do you have to bring it to that?
It's dinosaur piss, it's people piss, it's animal piss.
That's where it comes from.
You know, it's these type of questions that, like, you know, when you meet your maker of whatever description you want, you would just want to ask them, right? It's like, how many times had the water that I have drank been filtered through another body, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's gross. It's gross if you think about it. Don't think about that. I think I need to start a new hashtag. Hashtag don't think about it, right? Things that keep you awake at night. You know, like you're laying in bed, you can't get to sleep, and all of a sudden your brain starts thinking about these stupid questions. You know? It's like how many times have I walked past my soulmate? Or like, where on earth is my actual soulmate located? You know, like, give me a pin on the map. And then you could be like, oh, okay. Well, then I don't feel so bad. Or, you know, shit, I walk past them every single day.
Ooh.
Anyways, yeah, things not to think about.
Could have saved us all a lot of time.
No kidding, right? That's why, like, you know, I don't want to get. Oh God, we keep talking about religion. This past week, there's been way too many religious debates, and I don't want to really talk about it. But you know, people that have near-death experiences. We'll talk about DMT, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's
Spirit
go.
molecule.
We're turning into the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yep.
Let's talk about DMT constantly. So
the spirit molecule.
Right. So DMT is the chemical compound that your body releases just before you die.
It actually releases it like in sleep as well, I think, but in small quantities.
Microdosed.
Yep.
Health experts reckon you should be drinking between 6 and 8 glasses of water each day. What they don't say is that 10 people have probably enjoyed that water before you get your lips on it. Ugh. Is that straight copied from Google? It sounds like it would be copied from Google. Either way, 10 people though, you're drinking 10 people's piss. Gross.
Yep.
So, DMT, fun little quirky thing that your body has inside of it that, you know, only happens in higher doses, I guess, when you die.
So natural compound.
Not many people get to experience it. But lately, they've been synthesizing it. And now we have like actual DMT as a drug that you can take. I'm assuming it's pretty hard to get your hands on it. And it's definitely not legal.
You need to be in certain circles. From
yeah. It's like adrenochrome, fresh from the tap.
Yeah.
Good evening, Stevie.
But yeah, it's like you can go to like Central America and do the ayahuasca thing. You know, and it does the same thing as, you know, straight DMT.
Yeah, we
it's like a tea that you drink.
G is more of an expert than I am, so I'm going to let you kind of take over that.
I've not heard of this stuff.
Oh, Mike, it's a lot of fun.
I can't remember what tribe it is, but it's a tribe in Central America or somewhere thereabouts, and it's off the Amazon somewhere. But anyway, a certain tribe have been using it for centuries to contact their gods,
right,
and their ancestral spirits and whatnot, and it's called ayahuasca, and it's like a combination of two different things. It's like the bark of some tree mixed with something else, and it's made into a tea. You drink it. The trip itself only lasts for about 15 to 20 minutes, and that's the same on straight DMT as well. It will only last for 15 to 20 minutes. But the weird thing is that all the people that take it have shared hallucinations. Not necessarily the same ones, but there's a lot of extremely similar hallucinations that are popping up, like people seeing like beings.
Okay.
And they're describing the same things that'll tell them, that'll give them information. There's loads of people that have reported coming in contact with the beings, and the beings have actually said to these people who have reported it to the people monitoring them, the beings have said to them, "We're so glad you've discovered this technology that allows us to speak to each other." So there's loads of people that are researching it. One of which is regarded as a kook, sadly, but Graham Hancock is one of them. He's been researching it. Joe Rogan's obviously done it. There's a load of other people that have done it, and Michelle Rodriguez, as in Fast and Furious, she's done it.
Okay.
There's a movie that you can watch on. I'll see if I can get it, and I'll put it in the link on the YouTube. I can't remember the name of the movie, but it's a documentary movie, and it's about a group of people. This guy decides to get all his friends together, go to where they make this ayahuasca, and drink it. And quite a few of them suffer from like mental health issues, Michelle Rodriguez included, and they all reported that they felt lighter, after they took it. Like it released it all for them. Just released something from them that was troubling them. So yeah, it's still illegal pretty much everywhere. I know it's heavily illegal in the UK, sadly, but because I would love to try it. But
everything fun is illegal.
I think certain states are talking about like allowing it.
Wait. Let me guess.
Microdosing.
Let me guess. Colorado.
I honestly don't know, but just from what I heard in this documentary, like they are allowing research on it, I think, at the moment, but they're still not allowing it for use, recreational or whatever, or medicinal. But they are thinking about doing it, like for mental health issues, because it's proved to be an eye opener. There's a guy out on it's supposedly really good for addiction, believe it or not.
Okay.
One of the guys in the documentary was a heavy alcoholic, done a lot of drugs as well. He went on while this group was away doing this ayahuasca trip. He started messing around with like psilocybin, and it got him off of freaking alcohol and drugs. Mushrooms.
I mean, it's kind of one of those things, right?
Businessman.
Think about it this way: what was made illegal, 100 plus years ago, cannabis, is now coming out as straight up medicine for some diseases that we don't have cures for. So who's to say that the things that are illegal right now, in less time, I'm imagining, because technology, the way it is kind of infinitely scaling, who's to say that, we won't find out that, oh, surprise, DMT is actually the cure for XYZ, disease. It'd be amazing. But
I mean, just touching on what Dyer thing said, it's a very harsh experience. That is true. It can be a very harsh experience because it's so, it is only 15 to 20 minutes. So it can be really intense.
It's like peyote.
So, but usually the way they do it in the kind of shamanistic rituals is they'll have somebody guide you through it.
Yeah.
So it's illegal, but everybody's done it at some point. Well, most people have done it at some point. Acid, right? Mushrooms.
Everybody. Yeah, everyone's done acid.
Well, how about the Arno? But I mean, it was one of the things I always used to hear is, don't ever go near it unless you either know what you're doing or you're with somebody that knows what they're doing. In other words, somebody that can guide you through it, and that's what these guys have always done for centuries.
Yeah.
They've had guided.
It sounds like stuff that was similar to what the Aztecs used to do.
Probably, yeah.
They used to get young men, put them in like a labyrinth underneath the pyramids.
Oh, yes.
And they used to have a drink before going in there, and it used to going through the labyrinth was what they used to class as like what they call it, a spirit dream or something like that.
It was symbolistic of like traveling into the underworld.
Yeah.
Aye. That's right, yeah. So yeah, they're talking about DMT being the spirit molecule because got that nickname because it supposedly allows you to contact spiritual ancestors and whatnot and spiritual beings and
I'm gonna have to do some research on this.
Yeah. But
imagine doing a ghost hunt on DMT. Sorry.
I'd fucking love it.
There are a lot of theoretical physicists that have used the stuff as well. Or not a lot, a few that have used it that are actually considering that it may actually allow you to see into other universes.
What?
And vice versa. Do you know what I mean? Like, whoever it is that you're seeing sees into your universe. It's almost like a
portal.
What do you call it? The
alternate reality type of thing.
Einstein thing talked about, what's it called again? Quantum entanglement. It allows you to use quantum entanglement to see like the same molecules in another universe.
Yeah.
Kind of thing is really fucked up. It's opening all sorts of doors into theoretical physics as well. So, yeah, it's nuts. It is something I would love to do, though. Yeah. I'd love to try it.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to do some research on that one.
It's worth looking into because I mean, it's a lot of the stories that people report, they're so similar. It's beyond coincidence, is what folk are saying. If it is coincidence, it is the fucking biggest coincidence in the history of coincidences.
Why do I feel like this sort of ties into the whole, like, ancient aliens kind of thing, right? Like, the hieroglyphs in Egypt and all that depict, like, spaceships and spacemen and all these different things. It's like, what if they were fucked up on DMT or some other crazy drug and they, like, saw all this stuff? Not saying it's actually, a portal into another dimension or whatever. Yeah, okay. God damn it, I sound like that right now. But not saying it's an actual portal into another dimension or whatever, but, like, it's just kind of weird that they would have this, like, foresight to the future. And I mean, we're not even talking about necessarily our future or whatever. Like, they could have seen something that the human brain at that point in time couldn't comprehend.
Yeah,
and they recorded it.
To the Arthur C. Clarke, any sufficient technology advanced enough.
I mean, who's to say
viewed by a primitive society would be seen as magic?
Right.
Who's to say people like Nostradamus didn't use it?
Right. That's the thing. We could be reading this all wrong. We could be following a book written by drug addicts. Like, we could be listening to people that were claimed to be prophets and they were actually nut jobs on meth or something, but before meth was meth,
Yep. Well, a lot of these kind of visionaries were regarded as heretics and witches and warlocks and all that,
Well, yeah, if you go against the word that's being preached.
More of an understanding,
right?
Do you know what I mean? Because, you've got Like you were talking about Nostradamus. The thing there is like there's remote viewing, right? Which sounds fucking totally X-Files. When you actually explain to somebody what is remote viewing, it's basically sitting in a room. Somebody gives you a set of coordinates and you tell them what that is without knowing the coordinates that you're given.
Yeah.
They'll describe the surroundings, who's there at a certain time, what's going on, what conversations that are going on, and it was actually used as an espionage tool during the Cold War.
Yep.
It was used during the Cold War to view Soviet Russia. They would use remote viewers to go and view, Russian nuclear sites. But the weird thing was that the degree of accuracy when these guys were given the coordinates and they zoomed in, with the satellites and whatnot, these guys had described almost exactly what the satellites were seeing. So, I mean, it was the degree of accuracy was beyond coincidence, so it's a genuine thing. And even it kind of ties into, it's basically senses that we've forgotten how to use. That most animals probably have, but we're thinking we're that advanced that we just put it down to animal nature, but it could be more advanced senses that we've just lost.
The human being only uses about 10% of the mind.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, on average. But I mean, it's there was another experiment done where they sat people down in a room with their back to a door or whatever, and at certain times they would have somebody stand there behind them, silent, looking at them, and the person had to tell the tester whether they felt like they were being watched or not. Because and it was the degree of accuracy was above the numbers of coincidence. So it seems that we do have some sort of unseen sense that you can pick up. If you're like, if I'm sitting with my back to the door right now, right? Okay, I can see my camera here, but if the camera wasn't on, for talking sakes, anybody comes in that door, you get the feeling, oh, I'm not alone here. Turn around, someone's there. So it's almost like a lost sense that we've got. But yeah, this is all stuff that the CIA and whatnot have used already.
What if, like Mike said,
and say that they don't, and said that they didn't, but certain files have been released that prove otherwise
for a time, right? Hey, shut up! Get out there, dog. Hold on. So what if, like Mike said, right? What if, like Mike said, we use like less than 10% of our brains, and like this drug allows us to just like instantly expand that number like infinitely or something, right?
Well, I think psilocybin, they done tests on the brain mapping using like EEG, electroencephalograph.
Sure.
Where they put the nodes on your head.
Yeah.
And picks up the electrical activity, and there was increased activity.
Yeah, that's like
far more of the brain was being used.
That's like they actually have. There's pictures online. Let's see, brain activity under.
I mean, I watched a couple of episodes on. One was Long Island Medium, and the other one was Tyler Henry. They're both spiritual mediums, and they both did a reading whilst having that brain mapping thing on their head. And it actually showed up that both of them showed up that their brains actually go into a form of meditation whilst they're actually giving the readings.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're looking right now at a image of like what you said, the brain map activity thing, and it shows like the activity in the brain on LSD versus a placebo.
There you go.
It's freaking wild.
Yep.
Like,
Look at all that brain activity.
right, but like, so imagine that being. That's like, think about your senses, right? So your certain senses are in certain different parts of the brain.
Yep.
Imagine stuff that's happening in the front of your brain, not only increasing in activity, but also left, right, back, everything, every part of your brain just firing all at once, you know? And it's like, normally the placebo is what we use because everything is mundane to us for the most part. We recognize things very quickly as human beings. Also, I messed up my window capture. But that said, when we are given stimuli, little parts of the brain light up, right? So if you see an image that, like, you know, let's say you see like a hot chick or something, you go, ooh, bing, 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 the front of your brain starts firing. Or if we see something that we try to figure out, like a math problem or something, we go, okay, that fires off a different part of our brain. But with
look at maths problems, that just shuts my brain down.
you're like, your brain just goes, hey, take a nap.
Yeah.
But what if, you know, if you take this drug, it just instantly fires off all of those sensory inputs at the same time. Like, you can solve math while getting excited, while looking at that and seeing colors and hearing smells and all this. It's like wild. That's why people get that impression that it's almost a crossing of signals because there's too much stimuli.
I actually read that there are a lot, apparently, of Google employees that microdose.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
Not just Google employees, but Silicon Valley. There's a lot of
There's just a lot of
Silicon
people.
Valley that microdose in it because it increases focus and productivity.
That's the thing. That's becoming
just,
a big thing right now is microdosing psilocybin. And it's like little teeny tiny, like, I don't even know.
Here in the UK, they're actually talking about microdosing for treatment for a lot of conditions, including depression, anxiety, and even addiction. You know, because like I said, there was the guy in that documentary that he just done this off his own back. You know, he'd done a lot of research online himself, while the main focus of the documentary group was away doing their ayahuasca trip. He done his own kind of deep dive on the internet and done a lot of research into microdosing and completely got himself off of everything.
Crazy.
There's a lot of people that have reported the same thing.
Yeah. So go on, Mike.
Go on. I was just going to say, I'm definitely going to be doing a lot of research on this.
So
it's a really interesting read, man.
Mike's going to just deep dive into the Joe Rogan podcast.
Especially the ayahuasca stuff and the DMT. Oof.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, Sam actually did a deep dive on the podcast, and he kind of was enlightened a little bit about it. But, you know, everyone's going to take it a different way, you know, like take different parts from what you see on that. But we're right about the top of the hour now, so we're going to give everyone a little break. We'll be back in just about a minute or so. So stay with us, play some sounds, do what you got to do, go use the bathroom, get a snack, get a drink of water, get some DMT. We'll be back in a minute.
Mate, if I could, I'd have it.
We'll send you.
And we're back. Welcome back, everyone. How's everyone doing? Hope you enjoyed your short intermission there. We need the intermission music. Dun, 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 dun. I could do that. Yeah. So we're gonna switch it up, topic-wise. Something to think about, though. I think it's just I love those little curious things, about life. The unknown, the mystery, it's not scary per se, but it's just interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's funny, a lot of what was considered pseudoscience is now making its way into the forefront.
Yep.
Yeah. So
And it's like I said last night, if you don't have people that are different, we were talking about the Sophie Lancaster Foundation on Lee's birthday stream last night.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing about why she was bullied just purely because she was different.
Yeah.
And the people that are different are the ones that they don't think the same as the sheeple.
Right.
They're the innovators, and
I feel like it's a lot of creative types, right? Because we have all found each other from half a world away, right?
Mm.
So, and we got on instantly, pretty much, because of personality traits and whatnot, and similar interests. So, I feel like the people that you kind of fall out with might not I hate to use the word vibe, but you just don't vibe with them. They just have a different wavelength. And it's like, I feel like people, especially like creative types, tend to find each other and hang out together, right? Because you have a common interest and your brain works similarly. What is it, left brain or right brain? I can't remember.
Don't know.
I think it's left brain.
Remember.
I've always
you're
been
more drawn because you're curious. You have a curiosity.
Yeah.
So
let's see. Wait.
not interested in the status quo.
Side of. I'm gonna Google it. I'm googling it. Right hemisphere. Okay. So I've been not you. Go away. G word.
Status quo is boring. They only play 3 chords.
Yeah.
So the creative side of the brain is a right hemisphere, right? So right-brained. I've always been right-brained from day one in school. I've always been completely bored out of my mind when it comes to reading text or math or anything like that. But the second I get to flex my creative side, I'm all in and hyper-focused. And it's that kind of thing where in school, I didn't do great in school because I couldn't focus. I couldn't pay attention. But the second I found in high school the vocational education I received, I flourished. I was doing amazing at that. And part of the reason that I didn't get on with college as well, because it was too much like high school. It was too much more of the same. And I'm just I don't want to go back to English class and study poetry and all that crap. I don't really care about that. I want to draw. All I want to do is sit there and doodle. And that's what I did all day, is just sit there and doodle in my notebook.
It's like when I was at college, I attempted to do the motorcycle mechanics course.
Yeah.
And I was fine when it was taking the engine apart and putting it back together.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as it came to the electrics, screwed the hell out of my brain.
Well, it's like me, right? So I can design an entire overlay for Twitch. I could think about it in my head and imagine it before it gets done. And then I basically try to match what's in my head and put it onto the screen. But the second it comes to coding, numbers, little stupid fidgety things pushing a box down in a web browser or something like that, the things that Dire Thing excels at, my brain shuts off and tells me to take a nap. He's like, nope, not doing it. So it's just funny that you have like these limitations, this like kind of like stopping point where your creativity blends into maths and all the other stuff. Because like you can get creative with that, right? So Dire Thing has been showing me his animations using nothing but code. Letters and numbers, Mike. Letters and numbers. He could
do code's letters and numbers.
Right. So he could do animation using that and that alone, which is mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
Because for me, I can't translate that code into art on the screen. All I see is colored pixels, like actual things. I'm going to try 4 hours of failed alien building. Oh, no. Uh-oh, CC Coils. That does not sound good. Sounds like... Ooh.
I'm not being funny, but computer code and that, you might as well just send me a little epileptic fit.
Right? But that's where my brain stops, and it's just like, nope, can't do it. Dire Thing says I just get frustrated at all the UI sliders. Oh. I mean, but I could sit there for hours in After Effects and just adjust little things and tweak little buttons and dials to make what I want happen on the screen. And like my brain just says, try this, try this, try this, try this. And I try stuff until it works.
The hell is a UI slider?
UI
interface.
Right, okay.
Basically just something that you can toggle. Just click your left mouse button on it, drag it, slide it.
Right.
Right, okay.
So there's like programs that you can use to like help you build code and stuff like that, which is cool. I haven't really ever attempted that because I'm too like scared over even starting to dive into it. It's bad enough I'm thinking about starting to learn how to do 3D modeling and animation. Like I need more stuff to occupy my brain space. Feel like I'm running low on RAM. Not so much memory, but RAM. I need temporary storage.
When you talk about that stuff, mate, it's ridiculous to me.
But that's the thing is like everyone's got their different thing. G has music. G is excellent with the whole music production. And I'm sure, G, you think in music terms, right? So if you hear something like footsteps, you can kind of like
rhythm.
You hear the rhythm, you hear the beat, and you're just like, okay. And you can put like a time signature to it,
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like a normal person would just hear footsteps. But like when you hear footsteps, you see other things in your head. You're like, you can see your software and a waveform and like all this stuff. Whereas like with how I work, it's like I see something and I go, aha, that's what brush they use. That's what font they used. That's what, kerning or leading or whatever for typography, and, Mike might look at a motorcycle and see like an exploded view of the engine and all the parts in his head, So it's just how your brain works. I think that's crazy because like everyone's brain works a little bit different. But then when I look at, or when I hear sound, or when I, do this or that, I don't see what G sees, and G doesn't see what Mike sees. Mike doesn't see what I see. And everyone's different, but they're all similar, And that's kind of what draws those people together. And there's the opposite people, right? The left brain types that learn better by just diving into a book and reading it. My mom can read a book, like a novel with like 400 plus pages in a couple hours. She'll sit at the beach and read an entire book. I'm like, how the fuck do you do that? Yeah. My brain's going, ooh, look over there. Shiny.
Swings.
Squirrel. But But you know what I mean? Like, there's some people that can get into that sort of thing, and I just am not that type. But like, I feel like the intellectual people almost look down upon the right brain types because they don't understand the process, and they don't understand like what we go through to do what we specialize at. Because like, even the smartest person ever, you know, that reads 1,000 books and can recite paragraphs from memory, would look at a motorcycle engine and go, I don't fucking know. I know what's happening inside of it. I know the internal combustion process, but I don't know where bolt goes in. Bolt do bolt things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I can look at a factory standard motorbike. Predictably, it's always a cruiser with me. They're the only type of motorcycle I've got any interest in.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see what the bike is lacking, what styling it needs, and what needs changing on it.
Nice.
To make it into a much better motorcycle.
Yeah. I mean, that's your creative process. But not everyone can do that. By the way, Thank you, Eric. Thank you for the Prime. Much appreciated.
And, I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love to be able to just go down into the garage and just go to town and doing a motorbike up.
Right.
But to do everything that I want to be able to do to a motorbike, I would have to spend in the region of £30,000 just on tools.
Well, yeah, that's the one struggle with certain artistic ventures, is that things that tools for our various crafts are expensive. But it's true with everything. If you think about it, you know, like, I need a very powerful computer to be able to do graphic design, illustration, animation, etc.
Yeah.
Mike, you need power tools, or you would like power tools.
I would love power tools, mate.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't need it. Like, I've done Photoshop work on a shitty $300 laptop that didn't have a graphics chip in it. It was just running off an iGPU. And it's like, it was painful. Like, I don't prefer it. But it's one of those things where it helps a lot. Gee, you could make music on a kid's guitar if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about the tools that you use necessarily, but the tools sure help. Because you could make music all you want on a kid's little guitar, but it's going to sound as good as the guitar sounds. There are hard stop points for that as well. Mike, you can tune up a shitty little scooter all you want, but it's still going to be a scooter.
Exactly.
I can design on a shitty laptop, but it's not going to be a fun process. And the tools that we use are expensive. And it's true with left brains as well, because college education is expensive. If you take all the money that I've spent in all my various artistic, ventures and add it all up, I could probably pay for a college education.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, I think, to be honest, to do some of the work I'd like to be able to do, about the cheapest tool would be probably about £3,500. And that would be for an English wheel.
Right.
Nope.
And it's basically an English wheel is basically for bending metal.
Yeah. Gee, you've been requested to play a song.
I'd love to do custom bodywork on a motorbike. Building custom tanks and things like that.
I don't have a uke.
Oh.
Well, never played one, actually.
It would be great if you had all those things. But, it's one of those things where you are limited by money. And back when I was younger, when I first started getting into photography, because I got very distracted in my formative years, right after high school, I still did graphic design a little bit here and there, like I made invitations, flyers, business cards, that kind of thing, but I never really dove into it. I didn't start up like a business where I was a design firm or anything. I didn't make it official.
Mhm.
And it was basically a hobby and a useful skill for me, because then I transitioned to photography, and I was using my Photoshop skills in the photography where I was retouching photos. So I'd like smooth skin and make the eyes brighter and this and that, you know, make people into supermodels. But I thought that I needed better equipment, so I went out and I bought like very expensive equipment, and I did the same job with that equipment. And at the end of the day, the tool is also only as good as the person using it.
Yeah.
Or the tool that's using it. So it's 50-50. Some people are at the high limit of their creative process, and some people are at their low limit, right? So it's like, if you suck at taking pictures, no matter what camera is in your hand, your pictures are still going to suck. So,
Yep. I mean, another tool I'd want is a pneumatic pipe bender.
there's a pipe joke in there somewhere, I'm sure.
And it's for making custom exhausts on motorcycles.
I know. Jane says, I dare not look at costs and ingredients. Ooh.
Yeah, I can imagine, Jane.
But, you know, you can make art and you can be creative with anything. I feel like creative types in general are always going to be creative no matter what. So even if it's not bending exhaust pipes or making a full EP or, you know, designing something, you know, you can be creative in other aspects. Your brain still works in other aspects. Like, for instance, like how I said, I would always just sit there and just doodle in my notebook. Yeah, it's just a doodle, but it's a skill that not everyone has. Because, like, some people draw stick figures. I'd sit there and doodle a realistically modeled hand or something like that, you know? And it's like, you use the skills that you have and the way your brain works to your advantage for other things besides your kind of like main thing, right? Because, like, I like music. Mike, you like music.
Yep.
G likes music, obviously. But, like, I can play guitar a little bit. And I feel like I use my own creative process when I play the guitar, and I learn the same way I learn how to do something in Adobe After Effects or Illustrator or whatever is the way I apply that same skill set to playing guitar, where I'm like, okay, hear a note, play a note, and then just kind of pluck along to it until you like get the rhythm down, and then all of a sudden it becomes second nature.
Yeah, I'm at the stage where I still can't get my left hand to move along the fretboard and my right hand to pluck the right string.
Well, that's the basics, you know? You got to sit there and you got to strum the same note over and over, dong, 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 and then add in a fret. And then, you know, as you're going along, just try to move it in between one and the other. You know, boom, doom, you know, that kind of thing. And then once you get that rhythm down, you start adding extra things in, and it's about muscle memory.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's about just kind of not memorizing even, but go ahead.
There's a channel on YouTube I've been subscribed to, and it's a young lad that plays guitar. Right? I mean, he started out on the channel when he was about 8 years old. And he's now 17, coming up for 18.
Is this the boy with the big fucking afro?
No. English lad. His name's Toby Lee. And he's a blues musician.
Ooh.
Right? He is the youngest person in the world to be entered into the Gibson Hall of Fame.
Jesus.
You should grab a link to that and put it in the share your tunes section on the Discord, because I'm curious about that one. I love blues, man. I love blues.
He writes his own stuff, writes his own riffs, writes his own songs. Obviously, he covers other people's as well.
Mm.
You know, but he's got so much fucking talent for a kid that age. It's unreal.
It kind of melds, this whole topic kind of melds into the whole Twitch thing, right? Because like Jenny really introduced me into the world of the art streamers.
Huh?
And I feel like even if you're not an artist yourself, you can appreciate the art streamers because they're just so creative that you tend to enjoy it more if you're also a creative type. Because you see what they have going on with their overlays and their like little PNG tuber cartoon things, and they have like the iPad screen there that you can see them like drawing on and everything. And they also have like most of them have a lot of other stuff going on in the same like page in the same window. I was watching Omni Digital yesterday all day. I was lurking his stream while I was at work, and he's got a community puzzle in the top left corner. On the top right corner, he's got they call it a magma, which is the shared artboard for everyone. Yep. So everyone has like a separate little section of the board that they draw in, and they just fill in the board essentially with all the little drawings. Jenny's yesterday was amazing, by the way. I just want to point that out. I don't know if you caught it or anyone caught that, but man,
no, I didn't.
She drew the prompt for the magma, like the thing that everyone was meant to be drawing was spooky food. And Jenny not only made up the food itself, she had like a little candy corn, a swirly lolly, a little shake or something, like a drink, and something else. I forget what else she got in there, but she drew all that stuff with little spooky faces on. The lolly ended up being a snake all coiled up, and then she named everything too with like creative names, and I just thought that was amazing. And it's just right off the top of the head, you know, you just sketch until something happens, which is great. But back to the topic at hand. Omni also is playing a game in the lower right hand corner, and he's got his like alerts and everything, his little PNG tuber guy in the lower left hand corner, and it's like there's so much going on there, but that's literally what an artist's brain looks like, I feel like, because it's like a million things going on at once, and you're just kind of bouncing around. Like, gee, when you go track a mix, right, you're like, okay, I got the drums, you got the guitar, you got the bass, and you just constantly bounce back and forth and tweak little things about everything. And you don't hyperfixate on like one thing at a time. Well, no. But you might switch gears and do that.
You're supposed to, but
yeah. But sometimes you can hyperfixate on one little detail, and it takes you an hour to just go through and move little endpoints or sliders or whatever. Yep. Same thing usually with me. Yep. So you're just nudging things tiniest little amount just to see if it makes a difference.
Yep.
And then the next second you're like, oh, I got to do this with the drums. Oh, I have to go over the bass. I got to do it. And like, you know, same is true with every type of brain where you go, okay, Mike, you're like, okay, I got to install the fuel tank. I got to just do that. Oh shit, I forgot. I have to do the headlight, and you got to do that. And like all these different parts and pieces, and your brain constantly like sends you signals to like do this, that, the third. Same thing with my brain. Everyone's brain seems to work the same. And it's just, that is the wavelength. That is the thing that kind of connects
us. At the moment, I'm trying to think of ways that I can reroute the clutch cable on my bike.
And that's the thing. And not only that, even after you stop doing that activity, right? After you stop working on it, you go inside, you wash your hands, you make a cup or whatever. Your brain still thinks about it.
Yep.
You're obsessing over it in your head. You're like, man, if I did this and I did that, maybe I could do that. Dude, I fall asleep thinking about stupid overlays and animations and little things that I could do. Is like, oh, you know what I could do? I could group those together and center it, and that would make it work.
Yep.
And then half the time you wake up, you're like, what was it that I was thinking about last night? Like, yeah. As Eric says, as a non-artist, I could definitely attest to that. I'm assuming you're talking about the whole process and things, and like the wavelengths, and like, or as far as like the appreciating I wouldn't. So I don't consider myself an artist per se. I mean, what I do can be considered art. It's functional art, and the Mokos streamers have pretty much convinced me that I need to tell myself that I'm an artist. At the end of the day, I still sketch and draw and do all that stuff. It's still the same creative brain that I had when I was a little kid. Picked up a pencil at like 3 years old and just never stopped drawing. But now I just do it in a different way.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm not trying to hide it in a frame, Ian. It's basically where I've changed the handlebars from stock. I've had to put 1-inch risers on with the Z bars, which means the clutch cable is about 8 inches too long. And I've also got to change my front brake line as well, because that's too long as well.
Yep. Do I still have these commands? I don't know if I have those commands.
Talking about artists and that.
Yeah.
G, did you listen to that video I sent you
Bohemian
yesterday?
Rhapsody? No, I forgot all about it.
Mate.
This is your reminder.
I did watch the first kind of minute of it, and Jesus.
Yeah.
Get that guy in Queen.
I mean, he's actually the guitarist for, I think it's Sabaton.
Away.
He's the guitarist for Sabaton.
Jesus.
He plays for another band as well, beginning with M. I can't remember the name of it.
Well, here's the deal, right? We're all in a Discord. If you remember something midweek and you want to remember it for the show, put it somewhere in the Discord. I have stuff for everything, pretty much. Might make a little share your stuff kind of channel as well for anyone that wants to share something interesting. Shit, speaking of, I've been slacking, you guys. I've been paying too much attention to my own channel and not enough to this one. Because I should have been uploading the replays. I just noticed that I totally forgot that I have a replay thing now as well, where you can check out the links to the replays. But
yeah, no, he's the guitarist for Sabaton and singer-guitarist for Majestica.
Wow. Some voice on him, man.
Yeah. Copy link.
I was watching I think it was a documentary or something on like Queen and Freddie Mercury. I think it might have been a YouTube video actually. That was like just one of those like little quick doc kind of things. And that they were saying how like scientists and doctors or whatnot were like trying to figure out why Freddie Mercury's voice was so unique and like how he made it sound the way he did. And they were actually saying that his gap in his teeth helped him sing.
It wasn't just the fact of the gap in his teeth. He actually had too many molars as well.
Yep.
Which is why he couldn't actually pronounce certain syllables and that.
So it forced him to kind of...
He spoke with a lisp.
Make perfect enunciation.
Yeah.
When he was singing.
Didn't he have like a bit of a lisp as well?
Oh yeah, he had a lisp.
Yeah. Wild to me that like...
But then when you listen to him singing, he doesn't.
No. That's and the same is true. Like I always found it fascinating. Sorry, G, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
But I just find it fascinating that people don't sing in their accents.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you guys sang something, you don't sing with an accent.
Yeah. And it's the same with a lot of people that are singers that have Tourette's. They don't stutter or anything when they're singing.
Sean is an amazing singer, and he doesn't tick or anything when he's singing. But I think that kind of goes back to the part of your brain that fires.
It's a mix of that, but it's mostly certainly for folk that stutter or stammer.
The breathing.
It's the diaphragm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're singing, it forces you to use your breathing.
Yep.
To control the breathing.
Mm-hmm.
And control how much air you let out.
It's like the thing
kind of inhibits the stammer because it's like stammering or stuttering is like misfiring of the diaphragm.
It's like the thing where you think about your tongue being in your mouth, you're like, if you think about it, you're like, okay, now I'm very aware that I like the location of my tongue in my mouth, you know? If you're aware of your breathing, you start breathing manually.
Yeah.
You know, it's an automatic brain function that you don't really think about, but the second you fixate on it, then it becomes manual.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wild, man. The brain. Wild thing. I'm sorry I cut you off, G. I didn't mean to.
No, I was just going to say, like, the thing with Freddie Mercury, like, because he did have that problem with his front teeth and the molars, it pushed him to. He obviously was very self-conscious of it.
Yeah.
You know, and you can see it when he's getting interviewed. You know, he's really self-conscious about it, about his lisp. But then when he's singing, he probably heard it getting played back, and you know, when he first heard himself getting played back on a recording, he probably heard that lisp and went, "I fucking hate that. I hate that." It's what he hears in his own head all the time.
Yep.
So, being that self-conscious, he learned how to control it so that it didn't come through in the mix. So he was overly perfecting his voice.
Yeah.
And his enunciation as well.
But it's just like anything else. If you think about how you sound to other people versus how you sound to yourself, you hate your own voice. I think everyone hates their own voice. You know? And it's one of those things that you have to kind of get used to, especially when you do things like on video or audio, where it's like you're being recorded and played back.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time I recorded a YouTube video and was editing it, playing it back, I fucking couldn't stand it. I'm like, this is terrible. I feel bad for anyone listening to my voice, because I feel like I sound boring and droll and drab and all that. And eventually you get over it and you realize that it's not about how you sound necessarily, it's about what you say. And I feel like that's kind of, look at us, crew, right? We're not a bunch of lookers. Speak for yourself.
Radio.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, it's about what we're talking about is why people come and hang out with us. And personality, right? Personality. Because, like, I feel like we have pretty good personalities. Even you, Mike.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Once we get to know you. Ian says, no, I sound like I'm chewing bricks when I hear my own voice.
Yeah. I must admit, even when I shout, I sound like I've got a fucking washboard in my throat.
Eric says, I disagree, but that's neither here nor there. Look, okay, Eric. Eric just started streaming, so he's going to have to get used to everything that goes along with it.
I think he was disagreeing with Face for Radio because he's one of my OnlyFans subscribers.
Hey! That's gfeet.com if you're interested.
Yeah, even there, you don't need to look at my face.
Right? Jane says, fuck me, I can empty a room singing and without the need for a microphone. Well, there you go. That's a skill. You want to empty a room? Jane, strike up a tune. No. Sure, she's like a songbird. It's the last thing you'll hear before the torture starts. That's why I've been putting off streaming. Okay. The point of this conversation is you can look like this and still go on stream and entertain people, and they will like you. You just got to find the right group of people. That's all. Obviously, you souls that are watching us right now are just primo in my book. Also, Eric, that does not work here. Only on my channel. Only on Slightly Buzzed. We're going to have our own on this channel. Don't worry about it. But the point being is that if you find a group of people that can stand you, then you go with that. You don't have to worry about the other people. Don't worry about the haters. Don't worry about the negative side of things. Just do it and keep doing it until people like you. and I'm still amazed that I was able to amass as many people as I did during the YouTube days, you know, because I'm like, how do this many people care about what I have to say? And like when I get like viewers and people that are interested in what I have to say on, you know, on stream, it's like it's so cool to me that a lot of people that just vibe with me like that, so that they just come hang out with me, you know. They want to see what I'm up to, even if we're not like gaming at the time or whatever. Like they don't care necessarily all about the game that I'm playing or what I'm doing on stream. They come to hang out with me and talk and just chit chat, you know. Jane, you are lovely. I don't know what you're talking about. You're crazy. Face and voice made for the written word. And the fuck that I'm dyslexic. No, Jane, you're lovely. We love you. But, you know, it's all about the wavelengths. If we're on the same wavelength, then we get along. We get on well together. And it's like, I feel like wavelengths change, obviously. And like, you know, your whole vibe changes. And it's like, I've always been sort of an empath, right? Where you can kind of get the feeling for how people feel.
Mm-hmm.
And I tend to try to avoid negative energy by literally just ignoring it, which is not a good trait to have, because then it seems like you're like the quiet one in the corner or whatever sometimes. But other times it's like I could be completely vocal about my opinions and everything when I'm here in this room on stream with you guys. But then the second I leave and I go out into the world, I am the quietest, shyest thing that's in my box with my armor and defenses up at all times. And if I bump into something wrong, my anxiety like triggers me and I'm like, no, sorry. You know?
Yep.
The same thing at work, right? Like, I consider myself to have, I wouldn't say crippling social anxiety, but like pretty good amount of social anxiety. But the second I'm at work, because I'm a master at my craft and an expert in my field, I feel comfortable and confident. Like, I can straight up tell people, you know, that try to prove me wrong about something. I'm like, no, you're wrong. Here's why you're wrong. This. You know, when people come in, they go, you sold me a broken vape. I go, well, hit it one time. Let me see what you got. And they try to hit it, and it's like, okay, so it's blinking. That means it's not detecting a coil. That means it could be dirty contacts. It could be a busted coil, or it could be the device. Let's test it out. We grab another pod or something. Or first thing I do is clean the contacts. Sometimes that works. Boom, straight away, done. Second thing is like, you know, busted coil. No big deal. Get a new coil. And it's like, these people just assume that I'm trying to screw them over and, you know, jerk them around. When in actuality, if they took the time to learn a little bit about what they're doing, instead of just like, you know, well, I was going to say vaping just to vape, but I mean, I feel like that's most people. Not a lot of people are hobbyists anymore. Most people are going through the motions of just trying to stay off cigarettes, which is fine. I've always said that. It's totally fine. You don't have to be a hobbyist to
that is a goal.
Be in the crowd, you know. It's just about not smoking. But the people that don't care enough about it to learn about what they're using, you know, because if you know a few of the little finer points of what you got, then you can fix stuff on your own. It's amazing. Maintenance, right? If you don't maintain something, it breaks down. If you don't change the oil in your car, it breaks down. So same is true with vaping, you know, like if you don't change your coil for 3 months, it's going to be gross. You're going to have a bad time. But if you change that coil, get new liquid in there, boom, instantly a billion times better. And like some of these people just don't care enough about it to to bother. And it's like, I've had people come in after like 6 months and said, "Oh, I didn't get it here, but the guy at the store didn't tell me I needed to change a coil." It's like, oh, it's just black mush inside. And you're like, oh my God. Like, look, let's change this coil for you. Hold up. We got you. Oh. Just,
Yeah, no, you're right there, Ian. You're
Mm-hmm.
definitely right there.
Yep.
And again, Ian, I know exactly what you mean with mental health issues crippled you.
yeah.
I mean, but someone I don't know has only got to get within arm's reach of me and I want to deck them.
But you know, in the back of your head, you know that person is not a threat to you. And that there's no reason that you should deck them or what have you.
Yep.
But your head tells you that they're stranger, stranger danger, stranger bad. And you're just like, I need to get as far away from this person as possible, which makes life in the world difficult. I mean, gee, you've suffered with agoraphobia. You know, it's the second you get outside, you're like, oh God, too big, too scary.
Yeah, like my counsellor puts it down to the PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
Never been checked for that, but it probably is something similar.
But at the end of the day, you're a perfectly like sane person when but it's also personality trait wise, it is to do with being a introvert versus an extrovert. I guess technically I would say I'm like an extroverted introvert, right? So I prefer to be on my own. I prefer to be in my solo space. I prefer to be able to click that off button at any point in time that I want and be alone.
Yep.
The second I hear other humans, which is difficult with roommates, my brain is like, take a nap. You know? So if there's a big party going on, basically I shut down. I don't want to exist. And yet I'm sitting here in front of you guys and everyone watching, doing a podcast that's going to be recorded and played back to anyone that dares to click on the button.
But it's because we're in control then.
Right.
We have control of the situation. We can hit that click off button at any time. You don't get to do that out there.
Right. You don't get that disconnect. And that's why people that are on the spectrum don't have that sort of filter that we have. Like, there are people that are more or less low functioning that do hit people that get close to them. You know, if you have ever been next to or with someone that's a low functioning autistic and you like touch them or whatever,
I used to work with
they
folk
could
with
freak out
autism.
and they could hit you. And it's not their fault. It's literally the brain's impulse telling them what to do and telling their muscles to move. It's not their fault. I am in my safe space.
A lot of the time as well.
With the homies. I'm allergic to stupid. Oh, jeez. That's a whole different topic.
I worked with folk with autism for about 3 years. 3 and a bit years. And in that time, I worked with quite a lot of folk. Different stages of the spectrum, you know, but right from really low functioning, you know, and a lot of the time it was just sheer frustration because they can't tell you.
That's the other problem is
what they want, how
they can't communicate,
what they need. Do you know what I mean? So it just comes out as just what you think is aggression or whatever, but it's just like, fucking listen.
It's frustration, really, more than anything. It's not
trying to tell you what I fucking need, but it's like a different language to them, you know.
But that's the way their brain is wired, and we're all different little individual snowflakes, and it's fascinating to me, the human brain.
To give you an example, like I'm not going to name the guy, you know, for out of respect, but one of the guys I worked with, very, very low functioning. I mean, he could get up and like find a cup and get water for himself or whatever, but couldn't do anything that we would do. You know, he knew how to go to the toilet himself and whatnot, but he couldn't put into words. He had a limited vocabulary.
Mm-hmm.
It was usually one word at a time. You know, it was usually tea. Self-explanatory. He wanted tea. Toilet. Again, self-explanatory. But other times he wouldn't even speak, and he would just point randomly, and you'd be like, okay, logic it out. What is he trying to tell me here? You know, and it was a lot of the time he was going like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what is it? And he's like, you know, just pointing. And then he starts like crying. And you're like, okay, are you in pain? And he's like, still doing it. So you don't know if he's in pain or not.
Yeah.
It turned out like I left. He had blood in his stool one time. I took him to the doctor and I was like, look, I know this is a danger sign. If there's blood in stool, it can mean, okay, it could be just something as mundane as a burst blood vessel. You know, because he was prone to pushing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when he was trying to take a shit, he would push too hard. You know, so. But of course, health service being what it was, and is, the doctor knew this, that he was prone to pushing, and just immediately wrote it off as that. I left to move over here. I left the job to move over here in Northern Ireland. And about 5 years later, the poor guy died of bowel cancer. That's what he was trying to tell us. That's what he was trying to tell us. Sore.
That's wild. And the doctors didn't give a shit enough to look into it more.
Doctors didn't give a shit. You know, he just knew, oh, it pushes, you know, it's just a burst blood vessel. But the poor guy was like crying while he's doing this, and I'm like, okay, he's in pain.
Yeah.
So I took him, and then the doctor wrote it off. But I was like, not, got the team together, because I was senior at the time. Got the team together, and I was like, right, no, we need to push to get this looked into deeper. And they're like, right, okay, but is there anything they can do? And I'm like, of course, we can give him treatment, you know. And then I left anyway. You know, things were going tits up in the personal life, and I just wanted to come here.
Yeah.
So I left, and then I asked him, can you make sure that this gets done? Obviously never did.
You did what you could, G. It's not your fault or anything like that.
I know.
It's just unfortunate, you know.
Love the wee guy though.
Yeah. I mean, CC Coyle said his son doesn't do personal contact even from him. That's really sad too. But it's like, it's one of those facts of life that you have to like learn to accept.
Yeah.
And you have to understand that their brain is wired differently. Their brain doesn't work the same.
One day. Ian, he might surprise you one day, because like the two guys that I worked with, that I ended up working with all the time, they were, one of them especially, the guy that passed, he didn't like you getting in his space. Before I left, he would hug me.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
And
even
especially
the other one that was aggressive, he would hug me.
Especially with
beautiful.
With your son Ian being 14, he's still going through puberty. So the human brain doesn't finish its development.
Chemistry's going nuts just now.
Yeah, and it doesn't finish developing
things
until 25 years old.
Yep.
So there's a chance that the wires, some of them at least, will sort themselves out. You know,
that can happen.
People
can happen.
Change.
Just to give you a bit of hope, though, the other guy that I worked with, he couldn't speak. He had a stroke, and it disabled the speech centre, and he couldn't speak at all. But see, when he went to sleep, it happened one day just out of the blue. He started talking in his sleep. He could when he was awake, he only could communicate doing. That's all he would do, because it was like something was stopping the words from forming.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as when he just randomly done it one day. He started talking, and me and the girl I was working with kind of looked at each other like, "What the hell did you hear that?" And the thing that made it even scarier was he had the deepest voice I had ever heard in my life, like Andre the Giant.
Jeez.
I swear to God.
That's the demons.
Frightened the shite out of the two of us at the time, and I was like, "Did you hear that?" And she was like, "Yeah." And she said his name, and she says, "Are you okay?" And he went, "Aye." We're like, holy shit, he heard us. He actually fucking heard us.
That's crazy.
And so we started like pushing it and seeing, how could we, what can we do with this? Like, and we're like, right, so what do you like? And he's like, penguins. Like penguin biscuits. He's like, penguins. And we're like, wow. Okay, take a note of that. Right, he loves penguins.
Mm-hmm.
Right, what do you like with your penguins? Coffee. Right, wow. So we get in for
that is crazy.
So there's it could be that, like, because he was so relaxed, it allowed other parts of the brain to communicate with each other and yada.
Like you said, G, how your brain gets more, like, with people that are low functioning, they have trouble communicating, etc. Your brain gets so bottled up with the frustration, it just makes everything even more difficult, and that makes you lash out more. So the fact that your brain, your brain waves are very low and shallow, and in such a relaxed state, as you said, that allows him to be able to speak, which is fucking crazy. The only thing more interesting than a human brain is the unconscious human brain.
Yep. The other thing, you could be right there, that it wasn't actually the speech center that was disabled. It was just cognition.
Mm-hmm.
So he was probably seeing, hearing, and feeling everything different when he was conscious, but then when he was semi-conscious in a deep sleep relaxation, he was like, it allowed other parts of the brain to fire properly. So, that's why I was saying to Ian, just don't rule out that he won't talk, because, like Nick said, if he's 14, he's going through puberty, a lot of new pathways are being made right now. A lot of new pathways, new chemicals are being made, and he might eventually start developing, it maybe won't be a full vocabulary, but he might start using certain words.
Yeah.
And even that is just a game changer. If you get, like, with the wee guy that passed, like, even that's like him being able to say that one word at a time made our job a hell of a lot easier, because we knew what he needed then.
Well, it's like dealing with an infant. Like, how do you know what they need?
Yep.
But some people can write or type. That's why a lot of people, especially with mobility issues, they'll have like a typewriter next to them, or like some sort of typing device, text to speech, etc. Which allows a lot more to come out and get their thoughts out, and it makes life a little easier. But it's still something we're learning about. It's something that we haven't had to deal with, because if you think about it, 100 years ago, these people would just be classed as nutters and completely shunned.
Yep.
From society.
The thing is, because you look at the savant syndrome with autism, the really high functioning autism, where they're hyper focused, and they usually have one or two, possibly more areas where they're super strong and almost superhuman at doing.
Yeah. When you get the ultra-realistic draw artists and
I was just about to say, what was his name? Stevens. I forget the guy's name. Stevens something. He could go to the top floor of a building in London, take one look,
and just draw
just a quick
everything.
glance.
I've seen
and go away, and do full landscape
I've
drawings.
seen that guy. He drew like this massive canvas. Someone took him up to the top of a building.
He's a well-known artist now.
Yeah,
in the
I
art
think I
world,
know who that is. Yeah, definitely seen that.
But the thing about the savant side of it, it's the thing with autism. Autism might be just a normal part of evolution. It could be like.
I don't think it's even
opening, or because the whole thing with evolution is it's mutation. Just takes one part of one gene to just mutate, and then that'll change the course of evolution from then on.
Right.
So it could be that autism's a natural part of the the development of the human.
But think about it, right? If
pathway, if you like.
Oh my God, brain. So I feel like the term like autism and autistic and everything is completely irrelevant nowadays, because nowadays we're discovering that the spectrum is a lot more broad than we thought it was. And I feel like every single one of us, it's a spectrum. We land somewhere on that spectrum. And
that's one thing that they did teach us in the training, was that everybody lands somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
You talk to someone with autism, with high function autism about it though, and they'll say nope. Because I had a friend who was high functioning autistic, and I said that to him, like everybody registers in the spectrum, and he was offended.
Yeah.
He was super offended.
I mean, one of my friends, his brother is now, 32, 33? And, I mean, up to the age of 4 years old, he was normal.
Yeah.
Right?
I hate that word too. No, what's normal? What's normal?
I don't know what happened, but he went completely backwards.
Right.
And as I say, he's 32 or 33. He now actually has the mental age of a 6-year-old.
Wow.
It's wild.
I mean, he is unfortunately that bad with his disability that he can't live with his parents.
Right.
He's in 24-hour care, which is up the other end of the country to where his parents live.
So I know that's the horrible side of it.
So, Dire Thing says the pivot to the spectrum terminology really screws over the folks that have a significant issue. You're not wrong, and I don't disagree with that. However, I just feel like, as far as everyone's brain is concerned, as far as how everyone works and everyone's wired, we're all wired a little bit different. Some have a little bit more shorts in there, or crossed wires, or however you want to put it. But there's still certain aspects of low functioning people compared to high functioning that are fantastic. Like, I grew up and I went to school with a person that had low functioning autism. He was barely mobile. He used a wheelchair most of the time. He had a full-time assistant. He was vocal, but not fully, like short little bursts occasionally. And he did have like kind of random outbursts as well. But as far as like a personality, he was like really good artist. First of all, he could do graphic design just like we all did. He followed along with the lessons just like everyone else did. When he had free time after his lesson was done, the teacher allowed us to do whatever we wanted as far as personal projects. He would type word for word TV guides. Every word, every space, every dot, every number, letter, everything, front to back.
It's incredible, man.
And it's amazing that they have that part of their brain firing at that level, and yet
perfect recall.
He can't walk, So it's just like his brain is just shift the focus to another side. And that's the same thing with the creative types, I feel like. It's just that the balance is just a little bit different.
Yeah.
So
see, this is what I mean though, is that like, the thing about autism is that's a blanket name.
Yeah.
They still don't know what it actually is though. What they still don't know the causes. They still don't know how whatever it is that causes it affects the brain.
I mean, I know my friend's mum puts her youngest son's problems down to when he had the MMR vaccine.
A lot of people do that.
A lot of people blame vaccines and all that, but I tend to agree with G, where it's more of an evolutionary trait.
Yeah, because, I mean, it could turn out that all these different... I mean, the other thing about autism is there are similar traits in a lot of people that do have that condition, right? But it might not necessarily be the same condition. It could be just something like this person has a particular gene sequence different from this person that causes this to happen and this to happen. So they're always still learning the functioning of certain genes. They've mapped the whole genome, and they only know a minuscule fraction of what a certain segment of a gene does.
Yep.
So you just.
But even they're discovering nowadays though as well that people that get certain vaccines, the vaccine does have things in it that could disrupt our DNA structure.
Potentially,
and then when they have kids, or whatever, then they end up, with other types of disorders and whatnot. And it's like, the whole spectrum thing, like Dire Thing said, they need to break it up to 3 to 5 separate things. I think it's partly people trying to be PC about it, because people that are trying to be PC about it don't want to label you're autistic and I'm not, I'm normal, right? Which that's fine, right? Because I don't want to single out people, because everyone's different in their own way, like we've been discussing. But at the same time, we do need some form of separation to the fact okay, we need to identify the level of functionality, right? Categorize it and then treat as such, because you're the person you were dealing with that passed away, G, could have gotten better help if they were narrowed down. Okay, he's lower functioning, he's not verbal. We need to be able to try to communicate in a meaningful manner, instead of just going, oh, well, write it off as something else that's trivial.
Well, that's what as a support worker you're trained to do. You're trained to find ways of communicating. Yep. Especially if you're a key worker to one of them. Key worker means that's your focus is this one person, even though you work in a house with maybe 2 or 3, sometimes 4 people, that you're responsible for. Your main responsibility is this one person, so you need to find ways to get them what they need on a day-to-day basis. But you need to find ways of getting the service user, as we were told to call them. You need to find ways for the service user to tell you what they want and need, so that, they have a certain
repertoire, a certain.
You give them their own responsibility. Then you give it's a bit empowerment. You're empowering them to tell you so that it's their choice.
I feel like certain people, certain individuals will also kind of vibe better with other certain people. And that kind of comes down to what I was talking about with how wavelengths and people kind of feel in each other. That's how it comes down to it. Because you could vibe with someone, even if they're trying to help you, you could potentially not vibe with someone. Mm-hmm. If you have some sort of common interest, like let's say, someone you're working with, she was into metal or something, and you're like, okay, that's something, we got that, boom. And you
One
use
of my best
that.
mates, that's how I met him, through work.
Right.
He was a metalhead.
Yeah. And there you go. And that opens up a better kind of attachment to each other, which could potentially make it easier to communicate. Because if you learn that, okay, pointing to his side and crying means he's in pain, then you could kind of come up with a better understanding of each other by learning how to communicate. And I don't know. I feel like everyone is different. Everyone is, their brains focus on a slightly different, center point. You know what I mean? As far as left brain, right brain, but also, specifically in areas.
Well, what Dyer thing said about people that don't recognize cues, social cues.
Mm-hmm.
But that, you need to be really, really aware of cues when you're working with these people as well, because the other guy that I wasn't a key worker for, he was completely non-verbal, except when he was sleeping, apparently. A lot of people would maybe miss things, like if he was capable of showing agreement, he would go, you move a certain way, you make that sound, but that's him trying to say yes,
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going around the kitchen, you're opening the fridge or whatever, and you pick up something and you hear, that, okay, you want it? There you go. But a lot of people might miss that.
Hi, Demo. I think it's funny. We have a show where we just sit here and talk about randomness. I mean, a couple weeks ago, we were talking about bikes from the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And earlier, we were talking about DMT and mind-altering substances. And, the flow of the show is so random and so weird. Sometimes we could get on a very serious topic. Other times, we just talk about farts and nothing. And it's all for charity. But, that's what makes this show interesting. I got a bike from the 70s. Hell yeah. Well, we watched a couple of those commercials too.
Yeah, the Vector.
Yeah, the Vector. I kind of went on a deep dive after the show. I was like, I gotta learn more. I gotta find more commercials and watch. But I think we made some headway today. We definitely talked about some really interesting topics, really interesting kind of thought experiments, and we'll have to kind of dive back into that at a later point. But it is past the 2-hour mark, so I think we're gonna start wrapping it up here in a moment. Very serious topics today too, man.
Yeah.
But it's good.
No, it's a good one for the inaugural, affiliate.
Yeah,
stream.
affiliate stream, baby. Let's go. We're officially affiliated. Psyched. Gotta play Ron now. Lol. You missed. The replay will be up on YouTube. So, yeah, let's go back and just kind of go over everything. Big shout out to the sponsors. Jane, aka Shy Tots, multi-award winning e-liquid, as well as amazing skincare products. I've been using the beard oil for months now, and my beard is nice and soft. It's not extra greasy. It's not extra heavy. Lovely. She also has many, many other products available. Make sure you guys check them out. Use the code What's Your Favorite Cheese for 20% off. 20% off. Get at her on her various socials. You can find ways of contacting her in the Discord. If you guys are interested, make sure you join the Discord. Well, but don't forget about CC Coils. Shout out to CC Coils. Hopefully, he gets that alien situation under control and he gets some coils done, because Expo's coming up soon. So he's got to get those coils made. And make sure you use the code Who Needs Underpants for 25% off. I think he still has that code up. Let us know if you want us to change it. by the way, Ian, CC Coils, let us know if you want us to change that. Otherwise, you could get at him on various social medias, including Facebook, Instagram, and Discord. Again, all links and stuff are going to be in our Discord. So what else? We're raising money for the Sophie Lancaster Foundation, as you can see right here. We got 15 pounds raised already. Let's go. Thanks, Puddle Jumper and Lynn, for those donations today. Appreciate you guys. And this is an ongoing funding situation where we're just going to keep this up until it gets funded. Once it gets funded, it gets sent out, which is awesome. And anything money-wise that's coming into this show will be donated as well. So when we are eligible for a Twitch payout, that money goes directly to the donation.
Yep.
Which is good because what I can do from here is donate on our own page, on our own stream, to the cause using the money that comes out of that account. Same thing. Same. So, with that being said, a lot of good stuff talked about today. We'll be having Lee and Lisa on at some point. Hopefully, we can get them on in the very near future because we talked last night and we need to get them on here. Very cool people. Very cool people. Would be some good conversation. Happy birthday to Lee as well. He just hit, it 2,400 subscribers last night, I think?
Mm-hmm.
2,400 subscribers?
You were. Undesirables show was
the 2,400.
2,400.
Yay! Getting people to milestones, you know? That's what it's all about. And supporting others as well. So we're going to raid out of here pretty soon. Let's find a raid target. But I just find certain things just so cool. Like, sometimes we talk about really serious stuff, which is fine. Sometimes we talk about nothing, which is also fun. This show is meant to be whatever the hell we feel like.
Random as fuck.
Right. And as long as Mike's talking, we're good.
Yep.
If Mike goes quiet for an hour, we're not having fun here. So we got to keep it fun, lighthearted, funny, serious, whatever. As long as it's interesting, I suppose.
Yep. There's certain topic where my brain just shuts off.
Yeah, understandable. Well, we try to keep you engaged, Mike.
I know.
We're trying to get everyone involved.
And it's also difficult with the amount of meds I'm on as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is what it is. And if you get sleepy, Mike, just let us know. We'll end the show.
Yeah, no, I'm good, man. I'm good.
As long as you're good. Look, everyone's got to be good. Everyone love everyone. Everyone be good. Everyone treat each other with respect. We might seem like harsh kind of people to a degree, I suppose. But in reality, we're all just pussycats and, afraid of the outside world.
Yep. Too many damn people out there.
Yeah, too many people. I can't. Dude, I'm definitely in that category as well. I've seen Jane happen in person where she's just like, "Yep, I think I'm done peopling for a little bit."
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I must admit, I do get like that when I know I've got to go outside the front door.
Yeah. Let's see who's doing something interesting. I want to raid someone new, someone random.
So, out of all the meds that I'm on, the one side effect I absolutely detest from it is the fact that I feel numb all the time.
Ooh, that's weird.
I don't mean physically numb. It's... Can I put it?
It's brain fuzz. It's...
Yeah, it's like being in a fog all the time.
Yeah. Jenny can describe that pretty well. And I know what she's talking about. Because, like, a lot of people that have... that got COVID kind of deal with that as well. Where they're like, they come out of having COVID and all of a sudden their brain's just like, like highs and lows, not high enough. It's just kind of middle ground. You don't feel extra happy or extra sad. You're just kind of like somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just that's basically the way. Yeah. Good way to put it there, Demo.
I mean, I'm taking for depression wise, I'm taking not fluoxetine anymore. I changed me off of that. It's venlafaxine.
That's what I'm on.
Mirtazapine. More venlafaxine at night. And then I'm also taking amitriptyline, which is another antidepressant, but I'm taking that for pain.
Yeah.
And then I've got the cocodamol on top of that and the gabapentin.
Jesus Christ.
And then there's all the blood pressure shit and all that I'll take as well. I mean, each day I'm now on up to 37 tablets a day.
Damn.
I'll take more tablets than I do meals.
Jeez, Mike. You eat it with a knife and a fork and you put some brown sauce on the side?
Well, yeah, might as well.
Right? Ah, Nixt is live. Should we raid Nixt, G?
Giggity.
Let's raid Nixt. Nixt is a goth mommy that G is mildly obsessed with. We'll raid into her. She's doing some spooky looking stuff.
Yeah, I couldn't take that cetraline. They tried me on that on the first one. Completely screwed me up.
It's another name for the brand name of Prozac.
Yeah.
Well, they had me on the fluoxetine, which is another Prozac.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it was that I was thinking of.
Fluoxetine hydrochloride is supposedly the non-addictive formula for Prozac.
I've taken so many over the years, man. I've just fucking lost track. But it seemed, touch wood, best one so far that's working for me is the venlafaxine.
Good. But yeah, I'll take 150 milligram tablet in the morning, and I'll take 37.5 milligrams in the evening. Plus the mirtazapine in the evening and the amitriptyline.
I'm in 225 at night.
Sheesh. All right. We got a raid message incoming here, guys. Make sure you copy and paste this a couple of times. We're going to raid into Nixt in just a second here. Thank you guys for hanging out. Appreciate all of you. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for the subscribers, subscriptions, etc. Thanks for the Prime.
Go follow One Man Stands.
Go follow One Man Stands. We'll shout G out real quick.
Most definitely.
Thank you, Dire Thing. Much appreciated. I'll be hanging out in my Discord after the show if you guys want to come hang and talk and whatnot. But until then, let's go enjoy some big bonkers with the Nixt. All right. See you guys next week. Enjoy your spooky season. Goodbye. Piss flaps and all that.